Everybody, this is Gabriel with Market Zero Journal for Friday, January 9th, 2026. Today we finally had some clean setups and hit the 7,000 psychological like we kind of thought we would throughout the week. Let me go into the setup after kind of go through the charts a bit here, but we had news this morning 8:30 and then news again at 10. Part of it was a decision on tariff would now be put off until next week, Wednesday. And what I saw this morning is this dip down here past the previous day close, 6962 on ES, and just coming in with a hair's breadth of today's overnight low at 6954.25. Actually, where is that overnight low? Okay, it came right around 1900 hours. So that's like 2100 or so Eastern Standard Time. These are Mountain Time timestamps here on my chart. So what I saw here that made me want to take a position and then add for a full position targeting the 7,000 level was that once we came out of this opening 30-minute range, there were some buyers that were starting to create volume imbalances and zero prints. So I'm actually not going to do this without the text here. But you see they came down here. There was some seller volume imbalance. I mean, actually, this right here, what level is this? 6982.25. You see there was some exhaustion from buyers here around 803 Mountain, 1003 Eastern Standard Time. With the buyer volume imbalance, it was not rewarded and it was stuffed. When the next bar opened, we see this large delta print of sellers became the point of control and formed a volume imbalance. I mean, sellers created volume imbalances all the way down here, even as they cross below VWAP. Interestingly, you see here, we created our first zero print, and then we created four more zero prints in this bar, which is crazy. That's significant, along with seller volume imbalance. If you look closer, for those not familiar with zero prints, this is from Carmen Rosado. I don't think I've seen anybody else look at it in this way, but his idea of zero prints, which I like, I track these in regular trading hours only, so they can only be created or removed during RTH hours. If it's formed overnight, I don't count those. And that's the way the indicator works. Although you can change it if you want. If you look quickly at the footprint indicator, you see that for zero prints, you can change those if you want those during regular trading hours or the full trading day. I just have them for. And if you zoom in on this bar, it's crazy. There's 4 of them here. Actually, it's kind of, this might be hard for you to see. I could even make this a little easier to read by making our footprints not in compact mode. Let's take it out of compact mode and reload the chart. There's a lovely NinjaTrader footprint bars. Those are a treat to read. Okay, so this is probably a little easy to read here for those that are not used to the footprints or reading zero prints. So you see here we have 55 on the delta. These are all delta on the left-hand side and total volume on the right-hand side. So we have minus 55, minus 22, minus 150, minus 17. You see these values equal the total value on the right-hand side, which means there were 0 offers. It was all bids with no offers at each one of these 4 levels. And so those are the definition of a zero print. Along with that, you see we have the seller volume imbalance here as well. And this happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These orders where sellers had at least 3x the amount of volume to buyers. And then what happened next on the next bar is we created really strong buying up. You see there's a little bit of seller volume imbalance here, but there's pretty much buyer volume imbalance all the way up. And then right here, we create a delta at the previous point level of sellers. And this aligns critically right here on the right-hand side with this delta. You see we have a massive volume profile delta of 1971 at 6960. If we look at this footprint bar, that previous price level had 150 contracts traded all on the bid. Here we had almost 2,000, 1,949 total volume. So over 10x the volume here. And actually down below here, 1,600 compared to 17. That's wild, right? That's like, 100 times the volume of the previous at that price level, which created a delta on this footprint bar, 1,700, and this one, 744. of buyers. So buyers were not messing around here. And again, on that next bar, they continued defending that exact price level. Look at, they added another 1,000 total volume, which is at this level 413 buyer delta, down below 317 buyer delta. So they were just absolutely 100% serious about running this back up. They were in it to win it. And in addition to, you see this previous bar, we see this 26.8 percentage. So that means that that buyer delta was, significant as far as, buyers go dominating that delta. And down below, we can even coming down here, see, look at this print of the cumulative volume. It's neutral, but it's dominated with this green border of by buyers. So let me put this back into compact mode. So once I saw this initial delta along with this volume profile and footprint delta, I took a starter. And as we came down here and then formed another delta on the next bar and started running price up and forming this volume imbalance of buyers, like I'm all in. So I took a full position on this and then started taking off profit at levels where there could be resistance, where could be a potential reversal. So my first profit target I took out at front ran VWAP. And then I believe there was another LVN higher up here that I took my second profit target off. It might have been around this area here, actually. I think it was right around here because I remember getting a little nervous around VWAP. So I think it was around this area I took my second profit target. And then the final runner I took off at a little before 7,000. I admittedly didn't stay until fully into 7,000. I kind of chickened out, and I think I ended up taking it a little bit on this pull down before it hit 7 up to this level here. I think part of that was I was kind of psychologically had a rough week. It's been really poor trading conditions all week, and I just wanted to lock in the profit. And I made a remarkably dumb mistake. I showed it to my desk late, so it was like problem number one. And then when I open up my trade of it window, which is where I execute my trades from, just find it easier, it was just showing a blank chart. And so I open up the Trade of It desktop app. And unfortunately, the last time I opened that app, I was not looking at the micros, the MES contract. I was looking at the E-mini, the full ES contract. And I placed a trade with a full ES contract in my first trade of the day, and then immediately triggered out a stop loss, my daily stop loss I have automated, which really stunk. I totally confused what was going on. It took me a minute or two to figure out what happened there. Well, thankfully I recovered that loss in full and then doubled that loss. So it was a great trading day, but it could have been a lot better. And that was a learning experience for me. So that was a really interesting way to come into this trade. So anyways, that's why I probably took this out a couple points earlier. So it's something to probably work on. If we look at my TradeZilla journal, I document everything as far as I look at the where, I look at what, and then I look at my why or my thesis. So my where was, it was the overnight low. See the market zero key level indicator. You can see this here. We just came and we brushed that and we were coming up to that close level from the previous day as well. And the what is kind of what sold this for me. There was 5 different reasons here for that what. 4 of them can be found here on the NinjaTrader chart. One being we have the significant buyer delta percentage here. Second one was the buyer volume imbalance. Third one was the massive buyer volume profile delta that supported price to move up. And then the last one, we see this massive buyer cumulative bar inflection. In addition to that, I would also point before going over to the next chart. In addition to that, you see that we have today's point of control above the previous day point of control. You see all this delta was formed here from yesterday, tons of congestion. So we came into that and out of that really quickly. And so I've been noticing that the POC from our current session is above the previous day POC. There's a tendency or bias to be trending to the upside, whereas if it's below the previous day POC, we might be trending more towards the downside. And then the last chart I show here is the Bookmap chart. I still use this once in a while. I find it useful for exactly this reason here. When there's a massive, I would say, discrepancy in volume on Bookmap for the rest of that session, it's usually an indication that something's happening. In this case, we saw buyers stepping in and they were able to move price up, which to me meant that there's large players in this trade that are going to now move price to the upside. If we had this been a seller, like a red dot, and they were trying to push things down and price moved up, that'd also be an indication of a reversal to me. So anytime you see these like big impulses here like this, and depending on which way price moves is an indication of how influential that player was. In my, what I've found, at least in these kind of setups, like these setups are kind of my bread and butter. I love these setups here, and I just kind of keep a chart here for the rest of the market. I have ESQ, Dow, Russell, and natty gas, oil, gold, and VIX. VIX was kind of ranging from the overnight range, so it didn't make anything significant. It had some wicks kind of the gate here, but it wasn't seem like it's pressing things in either direction, which probably gave it some breathing room to the upside. So ended the day on a good note, which is nice to have going into the weekend. It's definitely not an easy first week of the year, but I think the price action has been kind of wonky. Everybody coming back, and hopefully we get some cleaner price action in the next week. If you have any questions, let me know, or things you want to see in these videos, please let me know. We do have the Discord open for those of you that are subscribed to the Ninja Trader Indicators, where you can see some of my market plans in the morning and additional rooms around being able to request future roadmap of those indicators. Whereas if you're just using the free rooms, anybody can join to see the free room and ask questions for the trade of it indicator and see some of these daily journals that I am posting here as well to YouTube. So hope you have a great rest of your day, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.